This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Well, hey, good morning to you. First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason here, giving you a beautiful Friday. Yeah, Matthews Landscape in past camera. This is showing you basically the rural area. I won't say the rural, but the suburbs of Shreveport and Bossier. There you see the lovely Red River as well. Just facing southward on our Matthews Landscape and Pest camera. Again, beautiful sunshine and blue skies abound for everybody around the ArkLaTex. And not only that, we're hanging around with a chilly morning. That's maybe something to complain about, at least for a few of you. Temperatures, though, are getting up into the 50s, which is a lot better than the morning show when they were in the 30s and lower 40s. 55 right now in Shreveport. It is 55 also for Texarkana. The coolest spots we have are center into Queens, still hanging around at 50 degrees. Hello, I am First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason. I hope you're having a fantastic morning around so far. Guess what? Again, it's Friday. It's Friday. It's also Friday right before Thanksgiving week, too. You next week having a nice holiday next work week. Hey, I'm not sure if you're... That's the thing. I'm not, obviously, for me, myself, I'm a little bit of a different circumstance because TV doesn't rest for nothing. But do you have off like the entire work week of Thanksgiving? Or is it just the tail end of the work week? Because I feel like there's, I don't remember. But anyways, Thanksgiving, unfortunately, we're watching out for rain next week. We'll get into the Thanksgiving forecast in a little bit. And keep in mind as well, from what we say today about Thanksgiving here for next Thursday, Thanksgiving is still 6 days away, so I'd say we're going to get a better picture to see whether or not it will actually rain and what areas it will rain and what time of the day it will rain. We'll get a better picture of that probably on the podcast here first time next work week. Guess what? The podcast is still rolling on here during the holiday work week, so yeah, we'll be hanging 10. We'll be hanging around here for most of next work week, except for one day, actually. I can go ahead and say that right now. I'll say this probably later on again, but there will be no podcast next Tuesday. First time since we've launched this in July that we will be skipping a work weekday with the podcast. Next Tuesday, we will not have one. And the short reason for that is that CJ will be out of town all of next week. And the, I guess, best message is I will not be here to do that podcast on that day. I have a doctor's appointment that unfortunately I could not avoid and I could not push back. So, yes, unfortunately, timing, just, yeah, unfortunate with everything. But we'll still have podcasts Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for next work week. I promise you. Even on Thanksgiving Day, yes. If you want to come celebrate Thanksgiving during the day, maybe while you're cooking, put me on. Whatever you got to do. That'll be pretty cool. All right, so let's get into what we're doing here for the day today as we're ramping ourselves up for the weekend before Thanksgiving. I know I just talked to one of my coworkers who's just like, yeah, we're ramping in. We're getting all of our supplies, all of our food here this coming weekend. I'm like, I probably need to dodge the grocery store, even though it's going to be sunny all weekend long, and I shouldn't have any concern with getting out and about. But yeah, it's the weekend to get around here and prep up some Thanksgiving things, so we'll have some sunshine here for you on the local forecast that continues to show cooler temperatures, at least for today and tomorrow. We'll have that and more on our local forecast, which is coming up next. After that, we're going to go over a football forecast just in time for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. This is a critical weekend for football as well. Many of our high school teams in the playoffs. College football only has 2 regular season weeks left before conference championships and bowl games, including the Independence Bowl, which is played in a little over a month, but I think it's about a month and a week away. Played in Independence Stadium, obviously. And then NFL. Saints are on bye week this week, actually, but the Cowboys are in action. We'll go over that forecast in just a little bit. But let's get into it, shall we? The big message on for the day today is, I guess you could say, yes, it is the sunshine. But the main thing we're continuing to give you the first alert about in particular is the cooler temperatures. Now, it's not cooler in the 30s. I actually haven't updated this graphic since earlier this morning. But bring out the sleeves. That's the point. It's still in for the rest of the day today because highs are still going to be pretty chilly around outside here today. Again, temperatures, we just went over them. They're pretty much in the mid-50s for now, and they're only going to be reaching the low to mid-60s in for this afternoon. We're only ramping up the temperatures between now and the afternoon by only 5 to 10 more degrees. So still going to need some sleeves, most likely if you haven't gotten out of the door yet this morning around town, maybe running any errands. We're continuing to have these blistery cold mornings, though. It's the third straight one happening. And for Saturday morning, temperatures back down into those 30s they go here by Saturday morning, before Saturday afternoon looks to be actually warmer than today. And then Sunday, we really changed the temperature very, very quickly, I must say. I got temperatures around around the upper 40s and lower 50s to actually start off Sunday. So that's already 10 degrees warmer for Sunday morning compared to Saturday morning. And overall, Sunday is just the warmer day of the weekend by a long shot. 80 degrees is the high for your Sunday compared to a high of 70 for Saturday. Again, compared to the highs for today are in the mid-60s. So really ramping up the temperature here over the next couple of days, especially between Saturday and Sunday. Really impressive in that regard, honestly. So yeah, we're putting ourselves back up in the late summer standards, so to speak, in late November. So it's going to be really impressive. But those of you kind of already sick of those warm 80s hanging around, it only hangs around for 2 days. It's going to be a very brief time that we hang around with these warmer temperatures before those highs are going to cool back on down here heading into next work week. You see the high getting down to 71 on Tuesday. That's after 2 days in the lower 80s, Sunday and Monday to kick off next work week. And once we cool on down, most of that's going to be thanks to cloud cover and rain coming back into the ArkLaTex for next week. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But for the meantime, for the short term, what's protecting us here today and over the next few days is a high-pressure system. Now, this high pressure is moving. Today, it's just off to our west. Tomorrow, it's right on top of us. Sunday, it's off to our east, and then by Sunday, heading into Monday, it's pretty much gone, and that welcomes back in the cloud cover here, especially lots of cloud cover and moisture and humidity back in the ArkLaTex, mainly for Monday. But you'll definitely start to see even a few rounds of clouds here for the weekend, maybe early Saturday, late Friday. But overall, we hold off on the cloud cover until late on Sunday, building into Monday. And eventually that cloud cover starts to build itself more and more and more, and we're going to roll in a cold front here heading into the middle of next week. That is going to bring us rain. So we do have a good amount of rain chance for most of the ArkLaTex, honestly, over the next 7 days, and most of that is going to be found at the tail end of this 7-day forecast. So here it is for you. It does include Thanksgiving, again, which is next Thursday. So let's start with the next 3 days. Pretty sunny over the next 3 days. Temperatures are going to be a little bit of a roller coaster around here, though. Again, 65 up to 80 for Sunday and Monday before getting back down into the 60s for Thanksgiving. Now, next 5 days are completely dry. Then we have those rain chances creeping in for Wednesday and Thursday. I think those rain chances will grow the closer we get to those days. But here's my thoughts about Thanksgiving. I personally don't think it's going to rain both Wednesday and Thursday. The problem is most of the weather models that we're looking at and examining, some of them show it raining here on Wednesday, some of them showing it here on Thursday. They're in disagreement about when this cold front and when this rain is exactly going to get here. So we're going to keep you first alert. Probably first thing next week is when we'll have a better understanding, better timing about if that rain is instead going to come before Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving. I hope that makes sense. I will say one thing that we are sure of, and that is the fact that Thanksgiving will be cool. It will cool down. I mean, notice the high on Tuesday already cools down to 71 degrees, and temperatures getting down into the 60s by Thanksgiving. So, yes, the rain is questionable for Thanksgiving. We're going to hold up that for now. But the cool down, definitely a lot more likely heading into Thanksgiving time. And we got some 50s for highs on the 12-day forecast heading into the following weekend as well. So, we're a real cool off after that brief little 2-day stretch between Sunday and Monday with the temperatures somehow around 80 again in late November. Today's the 22nd. And yet we're have 80 degree for a high expected on the 24th and 25th of the month of November. That's 1 month away from Christmas. 1 month My goodness. All right. So let's look at your cooler forecast. Again, we have our YouTube platform for questions if you have any. For those of you watching KSLA.com and live stream, if you want to have your questions answered, you got to go hop on over to YouTube to ask your questions there. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the forecast. Again, we pretty much just go over the forecast a lot more in depth than just your typical news show. All right. So that was a good look at your local forecast. We'll head to a quick break, and then after the break, we're going to go over some football forecasts and you can expect here for your weekend in terms of both local high school ArkLaTex teams, which are in action tonight. Got some local college football teams in action for tomorrow, and Cowboys back in action on Sunday at noon. All those forecasts coming up after a 2-minute break. I'll see you then. Hey, welcome back. KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason. Up here having a fantastic Friday. It's the end of the work week, and we're looking forward to overall a pretty great weekend as we just went over here locally. So hopefully that doesn't mean any kind of effects or any precipitation affecting any of our local ArkLaTex games. It shouldn't. If anything, maybe a little cool. It's definitely late in the season. You should be expecting that, honestly, by now. And it's finally here, at least again for tonight especially. Got one more bitter cold morning in for Saturday morning before finally warming up those temperatures. But let's go and actually physically look at all of these games in the forecast that they have based on location and the time they are also being played. So first of all, high school football for tonight. Yeah, it's getting pretty chilly. Going to need some sleeves around for maybe even some of the players outside. I will say not the most cold. Again, we start off with lows in the 30s in the early mornings, but at least the nighttime hours will be pretty much hanging around the 40s. No rain to worry about, I will say that. A completely clear skyline. It's just going to be some of those cold temperatures, so maybe bring out the blankets here for the night tonight. But it shouldn't be too blistery cold around out there. So maybe a sweatshirt, a blanket, and I think you'll be good to go in for your Friday night. Just make sure you don't forget those things. All right, LA Tech is a big game this weekend, taking on Arkansas, which I know some of our local ArkLaTex people are definitely fans of around here, which is good. So yeah, LA Tech taking on Arkansas, just a little drive away. Looks like we'll have some nice optimal conditions around there. First of all, best thing is no chance of precipitation. Nice and cool, too. I will say upper 50s and lower 60s is pretty optimal, especially for the players who are running around in those conditions. I think that'll be pretty great for them to be able to enjoy. Maybe just some sleeves expected to have on for the game. But besides that, it should not be too bad in the slightest. 3 p.m. kickoff there at Fayetteville, Arkansas, up in Hogville. I wonder if you call it Hogville. I know it's the Razorbacks against the Bulldogs. Good luck to both teams there. LSU is at home in Baton Rouge this weekend. They got 2 more home games to wrap up the season here. The first one this week is taking on Vanderbilt. The game time around 6:45. Still be a little nice for kickoff time. Temperatures, actually, I believe that is the wrong kickoff time. I think that's set for last week. I think it'll be around 64 actually at kickoff time, by the way. I'm sorry for messing this graphic up. I think temperatures will be getting down into the 50s there for the nighttime because it should be nighttime and there should be no sun out at a 6:45 kickoff there. So I look forward to 60s and 50s for that kickoff there. Sorry about that. I will say, I got this forecast mostly right, except for the graphic in the background. It is not being played at Jerry World. It is being played in D.C., or specifically Landover, Michigan. The Dallas Cowboys are at the Washington Commanders this weekend. This is our final football graphic. They're playing noon on Sunday. No rain to worry about, unlike for those of you who saw the Thursday night football game last night, the Steelers against the Browns. They dealt with snow throughout most of that. That was an intriguing game, that weather created there. To help, maybe even help the Browns win in a way. Anyways, yeah, no rain to worry about, no snow to worry about in D.C. for Sunday, that is. Temperatures a little chilly, 50s. It's not too bad, though, I will say, which is great for the Cowboys. Great if you're maybe somehow heading out and flying out to D.C. to join the Cowboys over there. All right, coming up, we're going to wrap up this episode, wrap up the work week. It's been a great work week. We started with the First Alert Weather Day on Monday. We'll wrap all this up. We'll talk a little bit after this, and we'll look forward to next work week. And maybe go over some hints of what you can expect here on this podcast here next week as well. All that and more is coming up on our recap and our future vision into next week, our forecast for the podcast, if you will. All that and more is coming up after a quick break. Stick with us. All right, welcome back to First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thank you very much for watching this work suite of episodes. If you did do that, thank you, first of all, for watching any episode, including today's episode of First Alert Weather Breakdown. Happy Friday. This is our last segment before we go off for the weekend. Again, we have shows on weekdays at 10:30. They air then at 10:30, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll get to next week in just a moment. But, yeah, we'll be back on Monday at 10:30. That's when we stream, KSLA.com. Anywhere you can watch the live stream or just on YouTube, on our YouTube page, KSLA News 12. If you want us to send us a topic, send it to us Weather Breakdown at KSLA.com, or you can message any of us on Facebook. And what I mean by topic is anything that you want us to talk about here on the podcast. Today's exclusive content was talking about sports here coming, or specifically football coming here for the weekend and forecast for those games. And other topics, we talk about Met Chats, which are essentially all four of us, part of the KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Team. That's how we incorporate all the meteorologists here at KSLA News 12 onto this podcast, rather than just having me stealing all of the show. So we do that. We've talked about tropics beforehand. That's pretty much done with, though, since this is especially late November now. We interview people coming in occasionally. We talk about national weather phenomenon going on. We also even explain some different science things. If you want to know how something works, how lightning works, how tornadoes form, we can go over anything and everything. We love your ideas. This is as much of a podcast as it is to me as it is to you guys. So if you have any ideas, please enlighten me. I would love to hear some at any point. Yeah, so you can send it, again, to any of our Facebook pages. You can message us and direct message us there. Or you can send us an email, again, weatherbreakdown@ksla.com. A little weird here for next work week. I guess before I get into next week, let's kind of recap this past work week. We had a First Alert Weather Day on Monday. We had a interesting, cool Met Chat that we recorded and aired on Wednesday. That talked about, man, what did we talk about? Oh man, my mind is already on the weekend. My goodness. I already know what we're talking about for the Met Chat next week, but I don't want to give that away. Oh, we talked about what to do for winter weather. So please prep up your cars, your family, you yourself, your home, if you haven't done so already. You can watch the tips and tricks for knowing what to do and having good reminders for winter weather. You can go back on our KSLA News 12 app, and you can rewatch any of these episodes. It's pretty cool. It's like having your own Netflix for free with just my podcast. So, yeah. You can go back and view that. Met Chat's pretty cool. We also talked about the bomb cyclone, which is still happening right now, and it's still ongoing across most of the Pacific Northwest, which is the best for those of you that have family up there in the states of Washington, Oregon, Northern California, or Idaho, because those are the couple of states that are getting pretty pounded, honestly, especially because this has been continuing on for days in that area. It's still, again, happening now as well. All right, so that's happening up there. That's pretty much what we've discussed over the past several days. Now, moving on to next week, the big main note for next week is kind of an unfortunate one. It is the fact, again, that we will not have an episode on this coming Tuesday at all in the slightest. The first time since our launching in July that we are skipping one day of the work week. Again, we are skipping Tuesday. We're not skipping Thursday. There will be an episode on Thursday on Thanksgiving, as there is for every single work week, including Christmas. Yeah, there's going to be podcast episodes coming up on Christmas week, too. But unfortunately, just based on circumstances, cannot do an episode on Thursday. I will be out. CJ will be out. And that's the only two people that have kind of learned to run the show here on this podcast, so to speak. So, yeah. But regardless, we'll be back on Monday for Monday's episode. You can look forward to us talking about that bomb cyclone again. I kind of want to recap because there's some intriguing measurements to kind of go over, some interesting statistics. Hopefully, I wish the best for those all in that area in the Pacific Northwest, because it is, as several meteorologists up there have described it, it's basically like having a fire hydrant of moisture and rain and snow all piled on the same area. Again, we talked about this last Monday, and this is an issue that's still recurring again today and happening this weekend. I haven't looked into the specifics, but I believe it's finally expected to move out next week, but this is still another 3 days we're dealing with this, and I'd like to kind of recap and see exactly how that bomb cyclone is actually kind of transforming, how it's been affecting the Pacific Northwest. We'll look into it all coming up on the Monday episode. We'll have a Met Check next week too, and one thing you can also look forward to is I'm hoping to have an interview. Hoping to have a guest here in maybe the chair right behind me where CJ was yesterday next week. You'll have to see who coming up on the episodes next week. I'm not going to give that away just yet. But yeah, That'll be pretty interesting. Anyways, that's it for me. Have a great rest of your Friday, and most importantly, have a great weekend. You have lots of sunshine to look forward to. Cooler temperatures around. I got one more very chilly morning in for your Saturday morning. Don't get caught off guard by that. Again, see us tomorrow at tomorrow. I keep saying tomorrow as in like I'm autopilot. I guess I'm autopilot already on weekend brain here. But anyways, I will see you on Monday. I will see you on Monday at 10:30. I will not see you Tuesday again. No episode Tuesday. But then I will see you again the following day on Wednesday. So I will see you Monday, 10:30 a.m. here on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Thank you very much for watching. You be there Monday, 10:30 on the same platform you're watching. Be there, be square, and most importantly, be weather aware. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday.